He wouldn't. He asked for it,
Huh?
If he wouldn't got it, he would ask for it. Man, what you doing with my money? Oh no, he went yesterday and you got that money. I would have. I wouldn't got 500 yesterday.
Right.
I wouldn't got it. I called, hey, where my money at?
Right. I want to have a talk with you on the way back home if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to record this message. So don't say nothing that incriminates yourself, or don't say nothing that you don't want others to hear about.
Right.
Because you know the recording button's on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. It on now?
Yeah, it's on right now.
Okay.
What I want to say, Danny, first of all, I appreciate your friendship.
Yep.
And I appreciate us going out of our way yesterday towards doing what we done. I know you were trying to kill several birds with one stone.
Yeah.
We went on a rescue mission. We went on a rescue mission for the husband, and then we went on a rescue mission for the wife. Last month, the wife wound up in jail for physical assault. This weekend, the husband wound up in jail of physical assault, domestic violence. Basically, both of them getting charged for the same thing, just on a different date, but the court date is going to come up the same on the same judge. So if you was a judge and you knew this was going to happen, you had one charged 1 week for the same crime that the other one was charged for, how would you go about handling that case if you was a judge?
I don't know.
Because somebody's going to have to be at fault anytime you have a hearing like that. Well, how can it be one person's fault whenever they both wind up with charges on their lives? So in actuality, it's both of them's fault, correct?
Right.
So whatever punishment that you sentenced to one should actually be sentenced to both of them at the same time, right?
Right.
Regardless whether it's 30 days or time served or $1,000 fine or drop all charges and walk away.
Right.
It should be equal, correct?
Right. Same charge, same people.
Same charge, same people.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, before it's over with, they're gonna put the screws to the male.
Oh yeah.
9-1 before they will the female, even though both was under the same circumstances towards fighting one another.
Right.
I guarantee you, the female will be the one to get off on the better end of the deal. Right. Why is that in America?
I don't know.
What are we doing here? I know we're doing the U-turn, but what was you looking for somebody over there? Looking for your buddy or something?
Yeah. He drives a tow truck. I'll go back.
Does he?
Yeah. Then we got baby sister live there.
So that's the money man that you just got through talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He seemed like a pretty good old Joe, didn't he?
He is.
A little loud like me and you, but he's all right, ain't he?
Yeah.
So you've been down in upper part of Mississippi all his life. Ain't no telling how much real estate he owns and businesses he owns and stuff.
Ain't no telling.
Ain't no telling.
Ain't no telling. I went to made a trip for him that day in Indiana.
Yeah.
I went for him to
Did
Indiana,
you?
Yeah.
Well, can you see better out of your mirrors and at your side glasses now,
Yeah.
towards looking at people
Yeah.
sneaking up beside you?
Yeah.
That needed doing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Second thing I want to talk to you about is it's reached a level with me personally that I cannot trust the people that at one time I thought that I could trust.
Right.
Being raised up around in Northwest Tennessee.
Right.
Because the way of how that they have either acted, responded, or how that they didn't act in the way that they didn't respond towards the things that was going on in not only my life, but my brother and my life. And I told you before That's one of the main reasons why that I wanted to come over here this weekend to these events, in which I didn't know nothing about the Shiloh deal. You popped that on me last night, about 7:30, 8 o'clock after we've done our Tupelo, looking around. But I didn't know nothing about the deal coming up in Shiloh pertaining to the reenactment deal until last night, in which I'm glad I spent the day with you.
Right.
Because even though it was erratical at times, going from one vehicle to another vehicle, picking up the wife that had 2 black eyes and messed up face because the husband beating on her, and then having to go get the husband out of jail, and then go and unload all that furniture yesterday. I needed this.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I needed this as a human source to be able to do things in a human way, because basically what I'm doing down there in Northwest Tennessee right now, I'm still getting my message out to the general public pertaining to what all has happened or what all is happening in my particular life, pertaining to different events that I've let you know about. But at the same time, I'm not living a normal life up there because of trust issues.
Right.
Whenever it's to the point that you can't trust the people that has tried to ruin you and destroy you, do you understand the reason why I have trust issues with those people?
Right.
There's not a church. There's not a church, I don't guess. If it is, it's very far and few between, that I can go to without them meeting me at the door saying, leave, get out of here now. Even though I was a part of something in 1988 pertaining to Ronald Reagan, of the falling of the Berlin Wall, and of the opening of one of the seals pertaining to the 2 witnesses that it talks about in Revelations. Because my story surrounds biblical prophecy, people are scared to death of me. They go around doing this to me. You know what I'm saying? Hexing me. Well, I want to say something to you. How far is it, first of all? Let me ask you a question. How far is it from here to our destination? About 30 miles?
No, about 10. 8,
Really?
8, 10.
Okay. So that'd put me on the time scale about how long I can talk to you. I've been steadily pumping out material, not just in the Northwest area or the West Tennessee area, but also in Middle Tennessee, East Tennessee, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Washington, D.C., Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, and different other places out west. I've been putting out a lot of material to a lot of people, and whenever they get a hold of my material, they're objectionable to it because it's coming directly out of the book of Revelations, and because people has taken things out of proper context, they have put me in the same category as the subject matter that I'm preaching on or teaching on pertaining to the end time events coming out of Revelations, which is in fact erratical. You have to admit that the whole book of Revelations is erratical. Whenever you have plagues and diseases and fire coming out of the sky and wormwood and the Antichrist, the mark of the beast, the one world government, and 666, you got to admit that the whole book of Revelations is a radical book.
Right.
But because I was preaching and so passionate about my message, they felt like that I was a radical.
Right.
And I'm not a radical like that. A matter of fact, I go by the guidelines of Christ that said to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. And that's exactly how that I position myself with anybody, unless the ultimate happens, in which I pray to God that it don't. If somebody wants to put their hands on me and try to hurt me.
Right.
You put your hands on me and try to hurt me, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to fight you back.
Right.
I'm going to try to prevent from you hurting me, even at the expense, if I got to hurt the individual that's preying on me like that.
Right.
All right, well, these people up in Weakley County, Tennessee, where I'm from, they turned the tables. Like I was the perpetrator, like I was the bad guy, like I was the monster, like I was the predator that was causing the problems. And the whole time, it wasn't me, it wasn't my brother, but it was them.
Right.
Or we would take our case before the courts, hire attorneys, and try to do it in the right perspective.
Right.
And guess what happened in the courtroom? They didn't stand in our corners.
Right.
They just sat back and allowed for us to be torn apart by various individuals in the neighborhood. You know what that's called whenever a judge is biased like that and he don't do his job? You know what that's called?
Nope.
Dereliction of duty. In other words, he didn't treat me fairly and the same as he would have treated his aunt or his uncle or his brother or his sister, somebody that just got through going through the same scenario or the same situation that we was going through.
Right.
He was being biased.
Right.
He didn't care what was going on in our lives.
Right.
Do you believe in curses?
And what?
Do you believe in curses?
No.
You do not.
No.
Well, can I stand to correct you on that?
Okay.
Jesus cursed the fig tree in the Bible
Right.
to where the fig tree would not bear fruit any longer.
Right.
But he also talked about the fig tree, that when the time comes that the fig tree is bearing fruit, know then that the end is nigh, that we're at the end.
Right.
Well, the fig tree has now started producing fruit again.
Right.
Okay? But the reason why Christ chose to do that to the fig tree was to illustrate his powers in telling them that was around him at the time, as well as us, that not only can I perform good things towards turning water into wine, raising the dead, healing the sick, healing the walking on water and feeding 5,000 people off of 5 fishes. He was illustrating his powers by saying, not only can I do good things, but I can do bad things too as well.
Right.
Well, right beside me is a group of people called the Wiccans. You probably heard me talk about them. I didn't know this until about a year or so ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that the Wiccans is a known occult religion. But in 1986, they got approval from the United States government that they are now considered tax exempt, the same as the Baptist, the Presbyterian, the Church of Christ, the Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, or any other good church out there. They are tax exempt since 1986. That means that they have the same benefits as any other organization, even though they're an organization that represents dark forces versus an organization that represents good forces. You see what I'm saying? Well, these people moved within a quarter of a mile where I live before I ever come back to Tennessee in 2014. Because up until then, I was going to all these different places. I was putting out my message to the general public, even though they wasn't supporting me, towards me being the messenger. I'm just the messenger. The message isn't about me. I'm just the messenger towards telling people what to expect in the future. Well, in 2005, while I was living in Davidson County, which is Nashville, Tennessee, 205 now, which has been what, going on 17 years ago, I sent the President of the United States a t-shirt that had the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse on one side. Each horseman had his own little rider. And on the other side, it read, "A bloody road ahead, the first woe cometh quickly, the Juby Jackson story," which is pertaining to me, because I do have to include myself in there. One blood from Christ washed away all our sins. And I wrapped it up. I mean, I done it professionally. I had to hire it done, because I'm not good with the airbrush. Wow, what a nice looking pond. It's awful low though, ain't it? Water-wise. But I sent that to the 43rd president, which was Young Bush, while I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and you know what kind of results I got out of it? I had 2 Secret Service agents come to my workplace at the time. I was working for Price's Auto Body Center there in Nashville. Old boy owned about, I guess, 4 or 5 body shops in downtown Nashville, and altogether he owned about 15 spread out. in different parts of Tennessee. But they come to my workplace and they question me, "Are you making a threat to our president?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm trying to put out an advisory to warn government officials that because of the way that we're heading, there's going to be a bloody road ahead." And then I explained to them, in addition to that, whenever the opening of the second seal gets opened, the Red Horseman, it says that there's going to be a massive slaying here upon to the planet to where the non-Christians will kill all the true Christians. Well, they kind of halfway accepted that, but at the same time, they were still surveying me because they come out there at my apartment and they check things out, making sure that I didn't have no explosives or anything like that. And I didn't. Nothing harmful. They let me alone. Until Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, long about September. And it rattled them down there on the South Coast. Well, by this time, I'm working for another dealership, which is in the Antioch, Tennessee area, which is just down below Nashville a little bit. And they called me up because they had my telephone number. "Hey, Dennis, we need to talk to you again, man. You mind coming up here and talking to us?" I go, "What's up?" "Well, we got some questions to ask you, and if you don't mind, we would appreciate if you was to come back up here." Well, I knew exactly where their Secret Service headquarters was in downtown Nashville because I'd already done been there once or twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I hung the phone up after agreeing, "Okay, I'll be there momentarily." But I got this bad feeling in my gut. "Dennis, this is something going on here." But I didn't figure out what God was trying to teach me at that time or tell me at that time. And I went ahead like a nut and went to downtown Nashville on Broadway Street and go up into the Secret Service chambers on the 4th floor. And while I'm in there, here comes this woman from the Nashville Crisis Center that sits down and asks me about 3 different questions. And within those 3 questions, her response was, "Yep, I think there's something wrong with him, and we need to institutionalize him because I think he could possibly be a harm to himself or a harm to society." Well, whenever you have a nurse, a practitioner, a doctor, somebody say something like that, that shit's serious. So they immediately slapped handcuffs on me, even though I was working, even though I had over $20,000 worth of work on the floor that I'd torn down 3 automobiles, 3 wrecks. Had them tore all to pieces, man. Fender over here, hood over here, interior over here, quarter panel being welded on over here. You know, I'm working on 3 different wrecks at the same time, simultaneously. And now they cuffed me up and take me down to the mental ward, which is in downtown Nashville, having me checked out. Well, as a rule, the authorities can't hold you no longer than 72 hours unless they can prove that you are an actual threat, either to yourself or to society. Well, whenever the doctors got through interviewing me, the real doctors, they said, "Ain't nothing wrong with this individual. Y'all need to let him go." So they didn't have a case. But I stayed in there for 4 days. Had to come back, eat crow, and explain all that to my bosses because they questioned me. "Where in the hell did you go? You just up and left these freaking jobs like this? What's up with you towards responsibility and accountability?" And I had sat and explained to them, man, I was kidnapped. I was apprehended by a damn group of people in Nashville, Tennessee, that basically it was an entrapment. As soon as I walked in their damn office, they was waiting low for me and throwed handcuffs on me for no reason. Well, it didn't affect my job directly, but indirectly, I always knew that was a part of something that they shouldn't have known about me. And because of it, it belittled me. It dehumanized me in front of my bosses, the people that I was working for at that dealership. And of course, whenever I had the opportunity of leaving that dealership and going down and actually working Katrina the following next year, which was in 2006, I done just exactly that. I went down there and helped for about a year. These people, that's the government officials pertaining to Homeland Security, Secret Service, they not only done that to me in 2005, but they basically done the same daggum thing in 2000. Let me get my numbers right. In 1989, that ain't right neither. 1989, my son and I went to New York City and Washington, D.C. on 3 different crusades, Christian crusades, passing out a lot of material. But in 1991, I was on my way back to Washington, D.C. towards going to open up a can of worms, going before the media and telling the media what they was doing, and that they had went to war with the wrong people pertaining to Saddam Hussein. And you know what they done to me in Wheeling, West Virginia after they put false charges on me and arrested me? They charged me for attempt assassination on the United States president at that time, which was George Walker Bush, the old man Bush, and ordered for me to go through a 45-day evaluation of this and a 45-day evaluation of this, and put me on a private jet and sent me to Butler, North Carolina. A private jet that does over Mach 1. We was doing like a little under 700 miles an hour. I was seeing buildings and towns and you know, the outline of down below me that looked like, you know, here 1 minute and gone the next. We was going fast. So they checked me out in 1991. Turned out I never did own up to threatening the president, because I never did. And they basically let me go when I pursued my life towards being an auto body technician for the next several years. In the meantime, what recently happened to me in my own home county, they had charged me after me going to a teller, passing out Bible literature once more again, handing this individual a pamphlet and telling him that there was so much controversy in my life, I was probably going to wind up on the Channel 6 News, because there was an explosion of talk about me at that time. Weakley County authorities working through Martin, Tennessee, and I can prove everything that I'm talking about. It's on paper. It's on paper. I can prove it. Left Weakley County and went to Carroll County, which is 2 counties over. I walked into my workplace. At the time I was working for Jimmy Darnell and David Lloyd, doing body work. Walked in, throwed handcuffs on me, and arrested me and said, "You're under arrest." I said, "What for?" He said, "Falsifying files." Falsifying files? I go, "Does this have something to do with the Internal Revenue Service?" I said, "I ain't never falsified no files." "Well, that's what we got you charged for." I go, "Well, what does the charge actually, what's the category of the charge for falsifying files?" He said, "It has the same implications as being a homegrown terrorist." I said, "How is that?" He said, "It would be the same thing if you was in a school and you pulled down the fire alarm and you set off a panic in the school. Or if you was in a theater and you cried, 'Fire, fire, fire,' and started a panic and everybody started stampeding on top of one another and got a lot of people hurt, that it has implications of being a terrorist." And I'm thinking to myself, man, I wasn't in no damn theater. I was just talking to an individual passing out Bible literature, and this is the statement that I made. Well, it didn't matter. They drove me back to the precinct in Martin, Tennessee. I'm telling you how they railroaded me. Listen to me. Drove me back to the precinct railroad in Martin, Tennessee, and questioned me about it. I said, "Look, man," I said, "I didn't have no harmful intentions in the way that I worded that." I said, "Besides that, you can illustrate things any way that you want to." I go, "You can have an explosion of Bermuda grass in your garden to the point that it took over your garden. There's all kinds of ways that you can use the word explosion and it not be in a harmful intentful way." Well, did you know what that costed me? $500,000, 5-acre mini farm, about $150,000 worth of investments towards towards everything that we owed. It costed me my divorce, and it costed me shame and embarrassment to the point that I picked up stakes in Weakley County. At the time I was living in Carroll County over by Huntington, Tennessee. Picked up stakes and went to Nashville, Tennessee, and that's whenever they attacked me again, pretending Secret Service. The events of what I'm trying to tell you is this. My government has purposely tried to assassinate my character, going all the way back to whenever two hands miraculously saved my life, whenever a 1979 Buick Regal should have cut me completely in half. Because they did not want my story to be effective, and because they did not want me to fulfill my personal calling towards me being a representative for the Lord Jesus Christ, and towards me being the orchestrator of the Windmill Ministries missions, they was trying to cut me off, stop me in any form or fashion, even if it meant bringing up all these lies towards character assassination. Don't mind, roll this back up again. Towards character assassination. I'm talking about they was going out of their way. Just like whenever I went up into Kentucky and I was fasting and praying up there in Land Between the Lakes, and I told the church communities that God had showed me that there was going to be electrical disturbances to come. And they blowed it out of proportion to the point that they must have thought that I was going to create the electrical disturbances by blowing up the Kentucky Dam. What I'm telling you is the truth now. And wound up shutting down the highway and brought in FBI dogs and looking for bombs. Why has all this occurred in my life, just like I'm planting a bomb in the back end of my truck in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and activating the bomb? Why has all this happened in my life, Danny? I'm going to tell you why. It's because the spirits, we fight not against flesh and blood, the Bible says. We fight against principalities. These principalities are trying to prevent or stop me from me being effective in the ministry that God has called me into. And for the past 30 years, I ain't been able to get no kind of support from the people in Weakley County, people, even the Christian society, because either they think that I'm a liar. Matter of fact, I've been accused of doing this for a celebrity stunt. Yeah.
You'll get out going.
Well, you're gonna get out too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got $5.
$5 a piece.
No, call it, I think.
Anyways, they have been purposely trying to stop me from me fulfilling my purpose. If you was me, would you not be wanting to make videos and put it on your YouTube channel, trying to explain to the public towards how that they have purposely tried to shut me down or stain me towards me being the bad guy? Would you not be like me towards wanting to make videos?
Morning.
Morning.
$2. And the rain is free.
Okay.
Would you not be like me, Danny, towards wanting to clear up your record?
Yeah.
Clean up your record. You know what I'm saying? Clean it up. Would you not be like me?
All right.
How about you back there? Would you be like me towards wanting to clean up your record? Huh?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely you would. Because you know the things that they was trying to do to you. They was trying to rip you apart. They was trying to destroy you. See, there's many different ways that you can destroy an individual and never touch them. All you got to have is a quacked up judge and a quacked up doctor, and they can put you in a daggum rubber room to where you'll never be able to see sunshine again. Did you know that?
Yep.
They can lock you up and put you away for life.
Yep.
With a quacked up doctor and a quacked up attorney.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what they was wanting to do to me towards putting me away. That way I wouldn't have been effective. I wouldn't have been effective out here in the eyes of the society. That's the reason why I want to document my life and everything that you and I have done yesterday towards being up here in Ripley, Mississippi, and being now at this flea market, this first Monday sale up here. That's the reason why I personally want to thank you for trusting me enough that we actually got a hotel room last night, your son and I, and stayed all night in, where was it?
New Albany.
New Albany, which is just outside of Tupelo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Danny, before we do this, can we go back out the same door, the gate that we come from, and can I go get my Big Bill hat to put it on my head, take it out of my car? That way it don't get my glasses wet and I can still wear my glasses to see the items. I'm pretty sure he'll give you some sort of a pass just so you come back through the same gate.
I don't know.
With it raining like this, well, you know good and well we're going to get wet. And I'm not going to be able to wear my glasses in the rain because I ain't going to be able to see because of all the water coming down on my glasses. You follow what I'm saying?
He might not, I don't know.
Well, let's go and ask him and see if he'll honor towards us going. And if not, I'll have to pay the $2 the next time we come in. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But I need to go get my rain jacket and my hat, my Bill hat, because it's more than just mist and rain right now. It's actually raining now. Those are pretty big drops. You know what I'm saying? The only problem is, I hope, well, no more cars that's here right now because of it raining. For surely we'll have a decent parking place.
I hope so.
Hear me?
I hope so.
Sorry about that. I didn't think about that with it raining like it is. I've actually got a rain jacket and a Big Bill hat. Just pull over to the side and let these vehicles get by or get through. You don't want to stop up the traffic flow.
They coming in pretty good.
Come on now. Pouring down, ain't it? It won't take him long. Now, here comes another. Go ahead and go around there right there, and you can talk to him on the left side, and we can go out that other gate.
That way you ain't supposed to come in this gate anyway.
You're not. All right, pull up right here, or going around. Roll your window down and talk to him real quick, the guy that took our money. Hey, we're going to have to leave and come right back.
Okay.
Because of it raining. Will you honor our $2 towards us?
If you come through my gate, yeah.
Yes, if we come through your gate.
All day long. Yeah.
Okay, all right, appreciate it.
It'll probably be 15 minutes.
Okay, we're
10 or
good.
15 minutes at the most.
Yeah, you're good.
He just wanted to put his raincoat on.
Yeah,
Right.
you're good.
Do you got a raincoat?
I don't need one.
You gonna get wet.
They don't matter.
So you ain't sweet. You ain't gonna melt,
No,
huh?
no.
All right, then roll my window back up. Yeah, it's doing more than just mist and rain right now. Matter of fact, I checked the radar a while ago, and it's banking up right now. Between now and about 12 o'clock, it's going to be mist and rain or raining, and then after about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it's going to be gone. I meant to say something to you a while ago about it, and I didn't. I'm sorry. But the question was that you never answered. If you was me, would you not be wanting to clear up your name?
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm making these videos. I'm gonna turn my video player off that's recording this right now. Do you have any final things you want to ask or make statements towards?
Nope.
Do you think that since I was in your presence all day yesterday, from about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, staying all night, and then us being back together today, never have separated, do you see any abnormalities in me to the degree that you feel like that personally that I need to be put in some sort of insane asylum, Danny?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've had a good time, don't you?
Yeah.
Been kind of abstract or abnormal, unusual,
Yeah.
but we still had a good time. Go ahead and pull in here. Did you notice to see my car was here?
Yeah.
Wasn't no little yellow tag, green tag on it
No.
saying get out of here. We don't want your Tennessee tail down here in Mississippi.
No.
And you've lived here all your life
Yep.
in this region or area.
Right.
Walking in here.
I'm gonna turn this off.
Okay.
Walking.